What if one skill could unlock every dream you've ever had? What if you could wake up every day with laser focus, crushing your goals while others are still making excuses? That skill is self-discipline, and it's not reserved for the elite. It's something you can build, starting right now. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a proven roadmap to master self-discipline, blending timeless wisdom with strategies that transformed my life. Stick around until the end, because I'm sharing a secret habit that took me from procrastinator to producer, and it'll change your game too. This isn't just another motivational talk, it's a blueprint for becoming unstoppable. Let's get started. Section 1, The Power of Self-Discipline. Self-discipline is the engine that drives your dreams into reality. It's not about being born with superhuman willpower or waking up buzzing with motivation. It's about making a conscious choice to act, even when your emotions are begging you to hit snooze, scroll social media, or binge another episode. I used to think discipline was for those people, the ones who seem to have it all together, grinding at 4 a.m. while the rest of us are still dreaming. But here's the truth I've learned: discipline is a skill, not a trait. It's a decision you make every day to honor your commitments over your feelings. Let me take you back to 2018, when I was stuck in a soul-crushing job, daydreaming about starting a YouTube channel. I'd watch motivational videos like this one, get all fired up, and then, crickets. I'd tell myself, I'll start when I feel ready, or, I need the perfect camera first. Spoiler alert, that magical, ready moment never arrived. I was trapped in a cycle of procrastination, watching others build their dreams while I made excuses. Then I stumbled across a game-changing idea: discipline isn't about feeling inspired, it's about acting anyway. I started small, committing to film one video a week, even if it was shaky and awkward. Those imperfect videos were my first steps toward a channel that now has thousands of subscribers. That's what discipline does, it turns someday into today. The wisdom we're drawing from, Jim Rohn's timeless teachings on self-discipline, hits this nail on the head. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your reality, the backbone of progress that transforms vague ambitions into tangible results. But it's not about going all in with crazy intensity or chasing perfection. It's about consistency, showing up quietly, day after day, especially when no one's clapping or liking your posts. I learned this the hard way. A few years ago, I tried to overhaul my entire life overnight: new diet, new workout plan, new side hustle, the works. By day 5, I was burned out, eating chips on the couch, and feeling like a failure. Why? Because I was chasing a fleeting burst of motivation instead of building a sustainable system. Discipline thrives on small, repeatable actions that align with your goals, not on dramatic, unsustainable surges. Here's a practical tip to get you started: pick one tiny habit and stick to it daily, no matter what. For me, it was writing 100 words a day for my blog. At first, it felt laughably small, 100 words. That's like a long email. But those 100 words added up to a 50,000-word manuscript in a year. That's the power of microhabits. Choose something simple: 10 push-ups, 5 minutes of journaling, or reading one page of a book. Do it every day, rain or shine, without negotiating. These small wins build momentum, and momentum builds belief in yourself. When you trust that you'll follow through, doubt starts to fade, and that's where the real transformation begins. But let's be honest, discipline isn't glamorous. It's not about viral morning routines or posting your hustle on Instagram for clout. It's about doing the boring, invisible work that compounds over time. I read about athletes like Kobe Bryant, who'd practice free throws for hours while his teammates were out partying. That relentless discipline made him a legend. You don't need to be Kobe, but you do need to show up. Every time you choose action over excuses, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. That's not just motivation, that's identity. One area where I think the original wisdom could go deeper is the role of clarity in discipline. You can't be disciplined if you don't know what you're aiming for. Discipline without direction is like driving a car with no destination: you'll burn out fast. For me, Clarity came when I defined my why. I want to build a life where I'm free to create content that inspires others without worrying about bills. That purpose keeps me grounded when I'm tempted to slack off. Your why might be different. Maybe it's being healthy for your kids, launching a business, or mastering a skill. Whatever it is, write it down and revisit it daily. It's your North Star when the going gets tough. Another personal story: when I started my fitness journey, I was overweight and out of shape, avoiding mirrors because I didn't like what I saw. I'd try fad diets and intense gym plans, only to quit when the scale didn't budge. Then I shifted to discipline over hype. I committed to 20 minutes of walking every day, no gym, no fancy gear, just me and my sneakers. Some days, I felt like a rock star, others, I dragged myself out the door. But I never skipped. Over a year, those walks led to 30 pounds lost and a love for running. Discipline didn't just change my body, it changed how I saw myself. Here's a challenge to kick things off: pick one micro-habit today and commit to it for 7 days. It could be drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, writing one sentence for a project, or doing a quick stretch. Track it in a notebook or your phone, and notice how it feels to follow through. Share your habit in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're starting. Discipline starts small, but it grows into something unstoppable. Section 2: Owning your time. If you want to master self-discipline, you have to master your time. Time is the one resource you can't get back. Once it's gone forever. Every minute you spend scrolling TikTok, saying yes to low-priority tasks, or getting sucked into drama is a minute stolen from your dreams. Disciplined people don't treat time like it's infinite, they guard it like it's gold. They plan their days with purpose, focusing on what moves them closer to their goals and ruthlessly cutting out distractions. The original teachings we're building on emphasize this beautifully. Disciplined individuals have a different relationship with time. They don't waste it or pretend they have more than they do. They use it strategically, like a chess master planning moves. I've adopted this mindset in my own life, and it's been a total game changer. Every Sunday, I sit down with my planner and map out my week. I assign specific hours for deep work, exercise, family time, and even rest. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. This isn't about being rigid, it's about being intentional. One strategy one swear by is the 90-minute focus block. Pick one high-impact task, like writing a report, editing a video, or studying for an exam. Set a timer for 90 minutes, silence your phone, close your email, and dive in. No distractions, no multitasking, just you and the task. I started doing this for my video scripts, and my productivity went through the roof. Before, I'd spend hours working, but get nowhere because I was checking notifications every 5 minutes. Now, one 90-minute block gets me more done than a whole distracted day. Studies show that focused work in short bursts can boost productivity by up to 40%. Try it this week and see what happens. But here's where I push back on some of the motivational noise out there. The internet loves to glorify extreme schedules, waking up at 4 a.m., grinding 12 hours straight, living like a robot. That's not realistic for most of us, and honestly, it's not necessary. Discipline isn't about burning yourself out, it's about building habits that last. My opinion? Start with one focused hour a day. If you're a parent, a student, or juggling multiple jobs, that hour might be all you have. That's enough to move the needle. The key is to protect it fiercely. Turn off notifications, tell friends you're unavailable, and treat that hour like a sacred ritual. Let me share a story from last year. I was balancing a full-time job and my YouTube channel, and my days felt like a whirlwind. I was always reacting, answering emails, putting out fires, saying yes to everything. I felt busy but stuck. Then I read about time blocking and decided to give it a shot. I carved out 7 to 8 p.m. every night for video editing, no exceptions. At first, it felt awkward saying no to after-work plans or ignoring my phone. But that 1 hour a day led to 50 new videos in a year, doubling my channel's growth. Time blocking didn't give me more hours, it gave me control. The original wisdom also warned about a common trap: confusing motion with progress. I see this everywhere: people who are busy but not effective. They spend their days answering emails, attending pointless meetings, or tweaking their to-do list, then wonder why they're not moving forward. Discipline means saying no to urgency that doesn't align with your goals. For me, one big shift was stopping the habit of checking my phone first thing in the morning. Instead, I spend 15 minutes planning my day, writing down my top 3 priorities. That small change saved me hours of reactive chaos and kept me focused on what matters. Here's a practical exercise: audit your time for 1 week. Track every hour of your day: work, social media, Netflix, sleep, everything. You can use a notebook or an app like Toggle. Then, at the end of the week, look at your data and ask, does this reflect the life I want to live? When I did this, I was shocked to find I was spending 10 hours a week watching YouTube videos, not creating content, just consuming. I cut that down to 2 hours and redirected the rest to my channel. The result? My subscriber count tripled in 6 months. Your time audit might reveal different leaks, but the fix is the same: prioritize what moves you closer to your goals. Another tip: create boundaries to protect your time. This means saying no to things that don't serve your vision. Last month, a friend invited me to a weekly trivia night. It sounded fun, but it was on my editing night. I politely declined, explaining I had a prior commitment to myself. At first, I felt guilty, but that no gave me space to create content I'm proud of. Every no to a distraction is a yes to your dreams. Don't be afraid to set those boundaries. One thing the original teachings didn't emphasize enough is the power of rest in time management. Discipline isn't about filling every second with work, it's about using your time wisely, including downtime. I schedule 1 hour a day to unplug, read a book, take a walk, or just sit with my thoughts. That rest recharges me for the next focus block. Without it, I'd burn out, and my discipline would crumble. So, as you plan your week, carve out time to rest. It's not lazy, it's strategic. Here's a challenge: try time blocking for 1 week. Pick one priority task each day and assign it a 60-minute slot. Protect that time like it's a meeting with your boss. Track your progress and share how it went in the comments. You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish when you own your time. Section 3: Conquering Resistance. Resistance is the invisible wall that stops most people from reaching their potential. It's that nagging voice in your head whispering, "I'm too tired, I'll do it tomorrow," or "this is too hard." The original teachings framed resistance as a natural part of growth, not a personal failing, and I couldn't agree more. Resistance isn't your enemy, it's a sign you're pushing beyond your comfort zone. When you learn to move through it, you unlock a level of discipline most people never reach. I've faced resistance more times than I can count. When I started running to get in shape, every morning was a battle. My brain would scream, "Stay in bed, it's cold outside." I'd lie there, negotiating with myself, tempted to skip. But I made a simple rule: put on my running shoes and step outside, even if it's just for 1 minute. Most days, that minute turned into a 5K run. That tiny action broke the cycle of excuses. Over time, those runs added up to 3 half marathons, all because I learned to act despite resistance. The original wisdom said disciplined people don't wait for resistance to vanish, they move through it. This is spot on. Your brain is wired to keep you safe, not successful. It loves comfort and familiarity, so any change, starting a business, eating healthier, or studying for a degree, triggers pushback. It's not personal, it's biology. The trick is to expect resistance and prepare for it. When you feel that urge to procrastinate, don't panic. Smile and say, "Here's my chance to grow." That mindset shift changes everything. One strategy one swear by is the 2-minute rule. When resistance hits, commit to just 2 minutes of action. Want to write a book? Write for 2 minutes. Need to declutter? Organize one drawer. 9 times out of 10, you'll keep going because starting is the hardest part. I used this to build my meditation habit. I'd sit for 2 minutes, no pressure, just breathing. Now, I meditate 20 minutes daily, and it's my mental anchor. Science backs this up. Small actions lower the brain's activation energy, making habits stickier. Try the 2-minute rule today and watch resistance melt away. My take. Resistance is like a compass, it points you toward growth. The stronger it feels, the closer you are to a breakthrough. Think about the moments you felt the most doubt, right before a big presentation, a tough conversation, or a fitness milestone. That's resistance signaling you're on the verge of leveling up. Instead of backing off, lean in. Embrace it as proof you're moving forward, not failing. When I launched my first online course, resistance was brutal, fear of failure, imposter syndrome, the works. But I pushed through, launching anyway. That course now helps thousands, all because I didn't let resistance win. One area where I think the original teachings could go deeper is addressing external triggers for resistance. Sometimes, it's not just your brain, it's your environment. For me, social media was a huge trigger. I'd see influencers posting about their perfect lives, fancy cars, 6-figure launches, and suddenly, my goals felt pointless. I started doubting my progress, which fueled procrastination. So, I set strict app limits, 30 minutes a day, max. That freed up mental space to focus on my work. If resistance is derailing you, check your surroundings. Are you around negative people who drag you down? Is your phone buzzing with notifications? Create an environment that supports discipline, and resistance loses its power. Here's a personal story to illustrate this. When I was studying for a certification last year, I kept getting distracted by group chats and news alerts. My brain would latch on to any excuse to avoid studying, classic resistance. I decided to create a focus zone. I'd study in a quiet coffee shop, leave my phone in my bag, and wear noise-canceling headphones. That environment made it easier to dive into the work. In 3 months, I passed the exam with flying colors, something I'd delayed for years. Your environment shapes your discipline more than you think. Here's a practical exercise. Identify your biggest source of resistance right now. Is it fear of failure? Lack of energy? Distractions? Write it down, then pick one small action to counter it. For example, if you're avoiding a work project, spend 2 minutes outlining it. Do this daily for a week, and notice how resistance shrinks. Share your action in the comments. I'm curious to see what you're tackling. Another tip, reframe resistance as a training partner. In martial arts, you spar with someone to get stronger, not to win. Treat resistance the same way. Each time you push through, you're building mental muscle. For me, this mindset helped when I was learning to code. Every bug or error felt like a personal attack, tempting me to quit. But I started seeing errors as puzzles, not failures. That shift kept me coding, and now I build my own website features. Resistance isn't here to stop you, it's here to strengthen you. One final thought on resistance, it's strongest when you're close to a win. The original teachings hinted at this, and I've seen it in my life. When I was one video away from hitting 10,000 subscribers, resistance hit hard, doubt, fatigue, even random tech issues. But I kept filming, and crossing that milestone felt like breaking through a wall. If resistance is loud right now, you're probably closer to your goal than you think. Keep going. Section 4, Systems over Motivation. Motivation is like a spark, it's great for starting a fire, but it won't keep it burning. Discipline, on the other hand, is the logs that sustain the flame. The original teachings nailed this. Discipline isn't about riding emotional highs, it's about building systems and anchoring your actions to your identity. Motivation is unreliable, you can't count on feeling inspired every day. Discipline is like a machine, it keeps running, no matter the weather. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I started my side hustle, I'd wait for bursts of motivation to work on it. Some days, I'd crank out hours of progress, designing products, writing pitches, building a website. Other days, I'd binge Netflix for hours because I wasn't in the mood. My output was a roller coaster, and my business stalled. Then I built a system. Every night, from 8 to 9 p.m., I'd work on my business, no exceptions. Even if I felt uninspired, I'd show up and do something, send an email, tweak a design, anything. That consistency turned my side hustle into a full-time gig within 18 months. Systems, not motivation, got me there. The original wisdom emphasized designing systems to reduce reliance on motivation, and I couldn't agree more. Systems take the guesswork out of discipline. They're like guardrails that keep you on track, even when you're tempted to veer off. My favorite system is the Daily 3. Every night, I write down 3 must-do tasks for the next day. They're non-negotiable, like a dentist appointment. When I was training for a marathon, my daily 3 were: run 5 miles, stretch for 10 minutes, and eat a healthy dinner. Some days, I felt unstoppable, others, I dragged myself through it. But the system kept me steady, and I crossed the finish line in under 4 hours. Here's how you can build your own system. First, pick one goal, say, getting fit. Break it into a daily habit, like 20 minutes of exercise. Then, create a trigger to make it automatic. For me, laying out my workout clothes the night before is my cue to hit the gym. It's like a signal to my brain, time to move. Finally, track your progress. I use a simple notebook to check off my daily habits. Seeing those checkmarks stack up is weirdly satisfying, it's like a high five from my future self. Tracking doesn't have to be fancy, a calendar with X's works just as well. One area where I think the original teachings could expand is the role of community in systems. Discipline doesn't mean going it alone. I joined a local running group, and their accountability pushed me to show up, even on rainy days. If I was training solo, I'd have skipped half my runs. Find people who share your goals, a study buddy, a gym partner, or an online group. They'll keep you honest when motivation dips. For example, I'm part of a writers group on Discord, and we share daily word counts. Knowing they're watching pushes me to write, even when I'd rather scroll Reddit. My opinion, systems are only as strong as your commitment to them. It's easy to set up a fancy routine and then ditch it when life gets busy. The key is to make your system flexible but non-negotiable. For example, if I'm traveling, I might swap my gym session for a bodyweight workout in my hotel room. The habit stays alive, even if the form changes. Build systems that bend, not break. If your system is too rigid, like exercising 2 hours a day, it'll collapse under pressure. But if it's adaptable, like 20 minutes of movement, it'll stick. Here's a personal story to bring this home. When I was building my YouTube channel, I struggled to post consistently. I'd aim for 1 video a week but often missed deadlines because I relied on feeling creative. Then I created a system. Every Monday, I'd script, Tuesday, film, Wednesday, edit, Thursday, upload. Even if the script was rough or the lighting wasn't perfect, I stuck to the schedule. That system led to 100 videos in 2 years, growing my channel to 20,000 subscribers. Systems don't care about your mood, they care about your commitment. Try this, create one system this week. Pick a goal, break it into a daily habit, and tie it to a trigger. For example, if you want to read more, commit to 10 pages every morning after breakfast. Track it for 7 days, use a notebook, an app, or even a sticky note. Share your system in the comments and let us know how it's going. Small systems lead to big wins, and I'm rooting for you to crush it. Another tip, reduce decision fatigue to make systems stick. The fewer choices you have to make, the easier it is to stay disciplined. I meal prep my lunches every Sunday, so I don't waste mental energy deciding what to eat. Same with my workouts, I follow a set plan, no debating. Look for ways to automate decisions in your life, lay out clothes the night before, schedule work sessions, or set app limits. The less you have to think, the more you can do. One final thought, systems are about identity, not just tasks. The original teachings touched on this, and it's profound. When you build a system, you're not just checking boxes, you're becoming someone who follows through. Every time I stick to my daily 3, I'm reinforcing that I'm a doer, not a dreamer. That identity shift is what makes discipline sustainable. You're not trying to be disciplined, you are disciplined. Section 5, Thriving Through Discomfort. Discomfort is where growth happens. It's the crucible where discipline is forged, and the original teachings got this exactly right. Discomfort isn't a sign you're off track, it's a signal you're stretching beyond your old self. Most people run from discomfort, thinking it means something's wrong. They avoid hard workouts, tough conversations, or long study sessions, chasing comfort instead. But disciplined people lean into discomfort, knowing it's the path to resilience and results. Take my experience with public speaking. I used to dread it, sweaty palms, racing heart, the whole nightmare. But I knew speaking was key to growing my brand, so I joined a Toastmasters club and committed to 1 speech a month. Each talk felt like stepping into a lion's den, but every time I got on stage, I got a little braver. Now, I can speak to hundreds without blinking, and it's opened doors I never imagined, podcasts, workshops, you name it. Discomfort didn't stop me, it shaped me. The original wisdom said discomfort is a sign you're growing, and I've seen this in every area of my life. Every time you push through, whether it's a grueling workout, a hard project, or a personal sacrifice, you're proving you're stronger than your excuses. My strategy for this is to treat discomfort like a gym for your willpower. Just like you lift weights to build muscle, you face discomfort to build mental toughness. You don't need to go extreme, small challenges work just as well. Here's a tactic I love, the 5-second rule. When I'm tempted to skip a hard task, I count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and act. It's like ripping off a band-aid, it short-circuits hesitation. I used this to start taking cold showers, which I now swear by for mental clarity. The first week was brutal, every fiber of my body screamed, turn on the hot water. But counting down forced me to jump in. Now, cold showers are a daily ritual that remind me I can handle anything, from a chilly rinse to a high-pressure deadline. My take, discomfort is a choice. You can avoid it and stay stuck, or embrace it and grow. The world sells us on comfort, stream another show, order takeout, hit snooze. But comfort is a trap. It feels good in the moment but leaves you empty long-term. Discipline doesn't promise ease, it promises results. When I started waking up at 5 a.m. to work on my channel, it was painful. My bed was so cozy, and my brain begged for more sleep. But those early mornings gave me hours of uninterrupted focus, and my content quality soared. Discomfort became my superpower. Here's a personal story to drive this home. Last year, I decided to cut sugar from my diet to boost my energy. The first 2 weeks were torture, cravings hit hard, and every coffee shop pastry was calling my name. But I stuck with it, replacing sweets with fruit and drinking more water. By month 3, I had more energy than ever, and my focus was razor sharp. That discomfort wasn't fun, but it rewired my habits and my health. If I'd given in to those cravings, I'd still be sluggish and stuck. Here's a challenge, pick one uncomfortable task this week and do it. It could be skipping dessert, calling a client you've been avoiding, or tackling a project you've put off. Treat it as a chance to level up, not a punishment. Post your experience in the comments, I'm dying to hear what you choose and how it feels. One critique of the original teachings, they didn't emphasize that discomfort needs a purpose. Random suffering, like taking cold showers just to be tough, won't stick long term. You have to tie discomfort to your goals. For me, cold showers are about mental toughness, which helps me stay calm during high-pressure video shoots or tight deadlines. When I cut sugar, it was about fueling my body for better work. Make discomfort a tool, not a stunt. Ask yourself, how will this challenge move me closer to my vision? That purpose keeps you committed. Another tip, reframe discomfort as feedback. When you're sore after a workout, it's not pain, it's your muscles growing. When you're nervous before a big meeting, it's not fear, it's your body preparing to perform. I used this mindset when I started fasting 1 day a week. At first, hunger felt like a crisis, but I reframed it as my body learning to burn fat. That shift made fasting feel empowering, not punishing. Next time discomfort hits, ask, what's this teaching me? You'll be amazed at how it changes your perspective. One final thought, discomfort builds capacity. The more you face it, the more you can handle. When I started my channel, editing a 10-minute video felt like climbing Everest. Every cut was agonizing. But I kept at it, and now I can edit a 20-minute video in a few hours. Discomfort stretched my skills, my patience, and my confidence. Whatever you're avoiding right now, dive in. It's not just about the task, it's about who you're becoming. Section 6, The Strength of Private Wins. True discipline shines in the moments no one sees. The original teachings hit this perfectly. Real consistency is private, not performative. In a world obsessed with social media clout, it's tempting to only show up when there's an audience, posting your workouts, your morning routine, your hustle. But the most powerful wins happen in silence, when you're studying late at night, sticking to your budget, or hitting the gym before dawn. Those private victories build the foundation of who you are. I used to be a validation junkie. When I started working out, I'd post every gym session on Instagram, fishing for likes. It felt great, people commenting, beast mode, or dropping fire emojis. But when the likes slowed down, so did my workouts. I realized I was exercising for applause, not for myself. So, I shifted to private goals, run 3 miles daily, no posts, no stories. Those quiet runs were harder, no one was cheering, but they built my self-respect more than any comment ever could. They weren't for the gram, they were for me. The original wisdom said private consistency builds self-respect, and I've seen this in my life. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, finishing a task, skipping a late-night snack, waking up early, you're depositing trust in your mental bank. Every time you break that promise because no one will know, you're withdrawing it. I keep a private scorecard in my journal. Every night, I write down one thing I did that aligned with my goals, like editing a video clip, reading a chapter, or sticking to my budget. It's not glamorous, but it's grounding. Those entries remind me I'm someone who follows through, even when the cameras are off. Here's how you can start: create your own private scorecard. It doesn't need to be fancy. A note on your phone, a checkbox in a planner, or a journal entry works. Track one daily win, no matter how small. Did you do your 10 push-ups? Write that sentence. Avoid impulse shopping. Over time, these wins stack up, creating a foundation of self-trust. For me, this practice turned me from a chronic procrastinator into someone who delivers, on deadlines, on promises, on dreams. One critique of the original teachings: they didn't highlight how private wins protect you from burnout. When your discipline is tied to external rewards, likes, praise, views, you're on a hamster wheel, always chasing the next hit. That's exhausting. But when you focus on private wins, you're free from that cycle. I learned this when I stopped obsessing over YouTube analytics. Early on, I'd check my views hourly, and a flop video would tank my mood. Then I shifted to my private process. Did I script, film, and edit to the best of my ability? That focus kept me steady, even when views dipped. Private wins are like building a house on rock, not sand. Your habits hold, no matter the storm. Here's a story to illustrate this. When I was saving for a new camera, I set a private goal: save $50 a week, no matter what. Some weeks, that meant skipping takeout or saying no to drinks with friends. Nobody knew, no posts, no complaints. It was just me and my spreadsheet, tracking every dollar. After 6 months, I had enough for the camera, and the pride of hitting that goal privately was worth more than any public flex. That discipline carried over to other areas, like sticking to my content schedule. Private wins don't just build habits, they build character. Try this: commit to one private habit for 30 days. It could be 10 minutes of stretching, writing one sentence a day, or avoiding social media after 9 p.m. Don't post about it, don't tell anyone. Just do it for you. Track it quietly, maybe mark an X on a calendar or jot it in a notebook. After 30 days, share your experience in the comments. I'm betting you'll feel a shift, not just in your habits but in how you see yourself. Another tip: use private wins to rebuild trust after setbacks. We all slip, miss a workout, blow a deadline, eat the whole pizza. It's easy to spiral into self-doubt. But a private win can pull you back. After I missed a video upload last year, I felt like a fraud. Instead of wallowing, I set a private goal: edit 1 minute of footage the next day. It was small, invisible, but it reminded me I could show up again. That one win led to a streak of consistent uploads. Private wins are your reset button. One final thought: private wins are about integrity. The original teachings touched on this, and it's profound. When you keep your word to yourself, you're not just building discipline, you're building a life of alignment. You're saying, my values matter, even when no one's watching. For me, that's the ultimate freedom, not needing applause to do what's right. It's quiet, it's steady, and it's unshakable. Section 7: Building your disciplined life. Mastering self-discipline is about aligning your actions with your values, day after day, until it's not just what you do but who you are. It's not about being perfect or never slipping, it's about showing up consistently, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. The original teachings gave us a roadmap: discipline is built through systems, resilience, and private commitment. Now, let's tie it all together with a practical plan to make discipline your superpower, blended with my own lessons from years of trial and error. Here's a step-by-step guide to build a disciplined life, starting today. First, clarify your why. Discipline without purpose is like a ship without a compass, you'll drift. Ask yourself, why do I want to be disciplined? What's the life I'm building? For me, it's about creating a career where I can inspire others through content without financial stress. That why gets me out of bed at 5 a.m. to edit videos. Your why might be different: being healthy for your family, launching a business, or mastering a craft. Write it down, put it somewhere you'll see daily, and let it anchor you when motivation fades. Second, start small. Big goals are exciting, but they're overwhelming without small steps. Pick one tiny habit that moves you toward your goal. When I started my fitness journey, I didn't aim for a marathon, I committed to 20 minutes of walking daily. That small habit led to running, weight loss, and confidence I never thought possible. Choose something manageable: 10 minutes of exercise, writing 50 words, or drinking a glass of water first thing. Small wins build momentum, and momentum builds belief. Third, create systems. Discipline thrives on structure, not willpower. Build a system to make your habits automatic. I use time blocking. Every morning, 6 to 7 a.m. is for scripting, 7 to 8 p.m. is for editing. Triggers help too. My morning coffee is my cue to meditate for 10 minutes. Accountability is another layer. I share goals with my writers group to stay on track. Find what works for you: a planner, an app, or a friend who checks in. My system isn't perfect, but it's consistent, and that's what counts. Fourth, face resistance. Resistance will show up, count on it. When you feel like quitting, use the 2-minute rule: do just 2 minutes of the task. Want to study? Read 2 pages. Need to exercise? Do 2 push-ups. I use this for editing. 2 minutes of cuts often turn into hours. Resistance hates action, so even a tiny step weakens its grip. Over time, you'll train your brain to move first and think later. Finally, celebrate private wins. The invisible moments matter most. Track your private victories, those times you show up when no one's watching. My journal is full of these, days I edited despite exhaustion, skipped takeout to save money, or stuck to my morning routine. These wins build self-trust, which is the bedrock of discipline. Create a private scorecard, note one daily win, like finishing a task or avoiding a distraction. It's not about bragging, it's about proving to yourself you're reliable. Let me share a story that ties this together. 2 years ago, I was overwhelmed, new job, new city, and my channel was stagnating. I wanted to quit, but my why kept me going. I wanted to inspire others to chase their dreams. So, I started small, one video a month. I built a system, script on weekends, film on Wednesdays, edit on Fridays. Resistance hit hard, doubt, fatigue, tech issues, but I'd do 2 minutes of work to break through. And I tracked private wins, every script finished, every upload, even the bad ones. That discipline led to 50 videos, 25,000 subscribers, and a career I love. It wasn't fast, but it was steady. My take: discipline is a lifestyle, not a checklist. There's no finish line where you're done being disciplined. It's about becoming someone who shows up, no matter what, through chaos, doubt, or setbacks. That's what makes it exciting. It's a journey of constant growth. I used to think discipline was restrictive, like a prison. But it's the opposite, it's freedom. Freedom to create, to achieve, to live on your terms. Every disciplined choice you make is a step toward that freedom. One thing the original teachings didn't dive into is how discipline evolves. At first, it feels like effort, gritting your teeth to stick to your habits. But over time, it becomes natural. My morning routine used to take willpower, now, it's as automatic as brushing my teeth. That's the beauty of discipline, it rewires you. You don't just change your habits, you change your identity. You become someone who doesn't negotiate with excuses, who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't need perfect conditions to thrive. Here's a challenge to bring this home: pick one element from this plan and start it today. Maybe it's clarifying your why, starting a micro-habit, or setting up a system. Commit to it for 30 days, no skipping, no excuses. Track your progress privately, and notice how it feels to show up for yourself. Share your 30-day journey in the comments. I'm reading every one and cheering you on. Another tip: anticipate setbacks and plan for them. Life happens: sick days, emergencies, bad moods. When I miss a workout, I don't beat myself up, I do a quick stretch the next day to get back on track. Have a minimum viable action for tough days. If you can't run, walk. If you can't write 500 words, write 50. These small pivots keep your discipline alive. One final thought: discipline is about love, not punishment. You're not forcing yourself to be good, you're investing in the life you want. Every time I choose to edit over Netflix, I'm saying, I love my future self enough to do this. Frame discipline as an act of self-care, and it'll feel less like a chore. You're worth the effort. Your dreams are worth the effort. Keep showing up, and you'll build a life that reflects it. You've just walked through a masterclass on self-discipline, the skill that turns dreams into reality. We've covered how discipline is a choice, not a trait, built through small, consistent actions. You've learned to own your time like a strategic asset, using systems like time blocking to prioritize what matters. You've seen how to conquer resistance, not by avoiding it but by acting through it with tools like the 2-minute rule. You've discovered the power of systems over fleeting motivation, creating habits that stick. You've embraced discomfort as a sign of growth, leaning into challenges to build resilience. And you've unlocked the strength of private wins, proving to yourself that you're reliable, even when no one's watching. But knowledge isn't enough, you have to act. Discipline isn't about watching videos or taking notes, it's about doing the work, day after day. So, here's my challenge: pick one habit from this video and start it today. Maybe it's a 90-minute focus block to crush a project, a 2-minute action to beat procrastination, or a private scorecard to track your wins. Commit to it for 30 days, no excuses, no negotiations. Track your progress, and watch how those small steps stack up into something massive. I've shared my journey, how discipline took me from a stuck, procrastinating dreamer to someone with a thriving YouTube channel, a fit body, and a career I love. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't fast. There were days I wanted to quit, days resistance screamed louder than my goals. But I kept showing up, and that's what I'm asking you to do. Show up for your future self. Show up for the life you want. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent. Don't let this video be another thing you watch and forget. This is your moment to change the game. Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, and join our community of dream chasers who are done with excuses. Share your 30-day challenge in the comments. I'm reading every single one, and I'm rooting for you to crush it. Want more tips on building the life you deserve? Check out the video linked on screen. It's packed with strategies to keep your momentum going. Let's build a disciplined life together, starting right now. You've got the tools, you've got the plan, and you've got the power. The only question is, will you show up? I believe in you. See you in the next video.